back in the southern home.
Yeah, and she showed me pictures of the llamas from one for one.
I guess I would have an
I guess
intake.
the llamas have to be a certain height though, so their bags don't drag into the water.
Oh, yeah.
Cause they get them fully packed up, loaded on the llama.
Thanks for asking.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Lawrenceburg Redevelopment Commission meeting for September the 14th, 2020, 4:30 p.m. Ms. Brookbank, can we get a roll call?
Executive Director Brian Messmore,
Present.
President Richard Richardson,
Present.
Vice President Lenny Fryman,
Present.
Secretary Kevin Schaefer,
Present.
Member April Fritsch,
Present.
Member Brian Johnson,
Present.
Lawrenceburg School Board Member Brian Jansen is absent, and City Attorney Del Weldon.
Here.
Thank you. Appreciate it. If everybody's had time to review the meeting minutes from the previous meeting, I'll go ahead and accept a motion to approve those. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Second. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Does anybody have any announcements for this meeting? Brian, do you have any announcements for tonight?
No, sir.
Ms. Brookbank, can you give us our financial report for the evening?
Yes, as of September 9th, 2020, the balance for redevelopment is $2,375,004.43. And after monies promised to projects, it's $1,372,899.33.
All right, thank you. Does anybody have any questions about that?
I do have a comment on that.
Yes, sir.
So out of that free balance, and we're making sure we have our fingers on the exact number, we would need to consider the $640,000 potential contribution to the tax credit housing project. And we know we've got a several $100,000 potential repair to the row house wall. So just keep in mind, the point of the conversation is keep in mind that we have some soft commitments out there that would spoil that balance relatively quickly.
That's true. Thank you, Brian. Move on to new business now, and I'll turn that over to Director Messmore. We'll start off with an alley property. It has to do with the Eagles vacating an alley. I think we're going to take that over.
Yeah, thank you. As you have seen in your packets and had some time to review, this is brought to us, the Eagles and have come to the conclusion that they no longer want to carry that alley on their books. They approached the city, offered to the city for $20,000. That is below our threshold, so we're not required to do appraisals for that amount. The process would be, and I'm recommending that the Redevelopment Commission purchase that, actually two parcels that make up that alley, and then once the transaction purchase is complete, we would transfer that property to the city for routine maintenance and upkeep. And the alleyway would remain open for the local residents and emergency vehicles and anything that needs to use that alley that's not already using it. So that's where that came from project, and I'm recommending to the board that we make that purchase and sell it to the city for $25,000. I'm just kidding about that sale.
I liked your
You had my wheels turning for a second. Like, I was going to say, make some money, huh?
You gonna split that with all of us?
This is something that the city should probably have ownership of anyway, correct?
Yeah.
Does anybody have any additional questions about this that haven't been answered yet? All right. What we need now is a motion to accept the property for $20,000. Do we have a motion for that?
I'll make a motion.
Lenny, a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second, Brian. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
And I will add that would only be a successful title research and all that stuff, as long as everything
checks out.
checks
we'll
out,
Move
so.
forward with it. And we have an East High Street property, 236 East High.
Yeah, okay, this is 236 High. Again, you've had it in your packet and had the opportunity to review it. This is a home that has been determined structurally unsound. There was some private interest in the property. and they were unable to figure out how to repair that home and put it on the market or whatever and make any money. So I believe it was due to the extent of the issues with that structure. That being said, I was put in contact with the property owner at 236 East High, and he has offered the property to us for $20,000. And again, that's under our threshold for appraisals. So I'm recommending to the board that we proceed with this. It would be an acquisition, demo, and this would be a lot that we would try to turn around and make available for redevelopment, you know, as quickly as the process would allow.
Anybody have any additional questions about this piece of property? Any concerns about it? What we'll need now is a motion to accept the offer of $20,000 to purchase 236 East High Street. Do we have a motion for that?
I'll make a motion.
Lenny, do we have a second?
I'll second.
Kevin seconds. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it. Motion carries. Now, Mr. Messmore, we'll move on to the tax credit housing approvals.
Okay, as you will recall, several meetings ago, we voted to proceed with pursuing the tax credit housing project over on the what we refer to as the Durbin Plaza, and we're in preparation for the application, which will be submitted on the 18th. We have received the property sale and development agreement, and we thought that although we have already kind of concluded that we were moving forward, this would be an appropriate place to ask the board for a vote for me to go ahead and sign this development agreement that council has reviewed, and we'll be submitting it with the application next week.
Anybody have any questions about the development agreement? If we had time to look through it. It seemed pretty straightforward and standard. You said Dell's reviewed it, or our council has?
That's correct.
Yes, sir.
We will go ahead and take a motion now to approve the tax credit housing development agreement.
I'll make a motion.
Lenny will motion. Do we have a second on this?
I'll second.
Brian seconds it. All in favor? Aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries. Ayes have it.
And we are submitting the 18th. Just a side note to that, we completed one of the application opportunities for us was to identify projects that the city's made improvements on within a quarter mile of that particular development property, and we were able to submit the improvements made with the adult center, the community center, and the splash pad at the pool. So we're able to demonstrate that we had used several grant sources, city money, community foundation money, and there might even have been a fourth, but it was a good example of us working cooperatively and raising funds and matching funds to support projects within that area of that development site. So we've been putting that together and getting that to go in with the application as well.
Awesome.
So we'll get some points for that.
Right. Does anybody have any additional new business that we don't have covered here? Not, we'll go on to our old business, and we do have the contract ready for Funny Farm Coffee. Brian, do you want to give us a little background on that, or add something to it?
Well, this basically, this is the summation of our discussions around the things and the elements within the contract, keeping in mind that, you know, our contribution to their capital plan was $25,000. We wanted to ensure that they would be operating in ways that benefit the citizens of our community and the people who visit our community, being open and doing what they say they're going to do. So I think this document, I know this document, we've reviewed it, you've had an opportunity to review it, the Detmers have had an opportunity to review it. So this document represents our conversation, and before I signed it, I just wanted to ask the board for a vote to move ahead.
That sounds good. I understand that Kate and Mike have both been doing their own kind of market research
Yeah.
in the downtown area.
Yeah.
too, So,
So, yeah. So, we had a fairly lengthy discussion about operational hours, and it's just kind of a general commitment that we ask for when we discuss supporting a particular project is a 6-day-a-week operation, an 8-hour-a-day-a-week operation. As kind of a general term. And if you remember, we discussed the hours and the early morning hours in particular, knowing that most people adjust to the events and things that go on in the community once they get accustomed to things that are happening. Yeah, he had some more feedback on his early morning hours, and apparently came to town a few mornings and sat around and drove around at 6, 6:30, and 7, decided he'd open at 7 to get started. So,
I think that'll be nice. That'll,
Yeah.
I think you'll have
Is-
success that way.
Is there a amount of time in this contract, and I don't mean hours per day, but as far as duration, that they have to stay in business in order to
it's
not?
is it 3-year in here? That's a good question. I think it's generally a 3-year.
I just didn't see it.
I didn't see it either. I was looking for
No,
it.
that's what we've done in the past, though. What we wanna have in this contract is
Yeah.
stay open for 3
Yeah.
years. I can
Yeah.
add that, and another
Yeah.
term that we usually add is that we prorate, the repayment, or they would pay in full. So if they closed after 2 years, they would repay a prorated amount, or they would repay the entire amount. So we can add that.
Okay.
I mean, I think typically we do that.
Yep, we
as
do.
far as protecting our money.
Okay, we'll add that. And do you want it to be prorated, or they are 1 day shy of 3 years, they pay everything back, or
What have we done in the past with our other contracts?
it just says repay in full,
I like that
so it
idea.
doesn't matter? Okay.
Hopefully, we don't even have to worry about that.
Yeah, that's one thing we hope
But,
we
and
don't.
remember, with an agreement, this is kinda like development agreement light, compared to, let's say, proof 124, because when there's property involved, then we can have a mortgage on the property for repayment. So with these kind of development agreements, these smaller ones, it's a personal guarantee, because they don't own any of the property, they're just renting the property. So that's why we have a personal guarantee there, where they would be personally liable, but unless there's property or equipment, there's really no way to lien that on the front end. So keep that in mind. Hopefully, we don't have to worry about it.
Are there any additional questions on this? If not, I'm sorry, go ahead. If not, we'll go ahead and take a motion to accept the contract with the additional changes made by our legal counsel. Do we have a motion for that?
Well,
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
Brian, do you think they'll have an issue with that?
No.
Okay.
Can you send it out to us prior to, once you make those changes, Bill?
Yeah, yes, sir.
Do we have a motion to accept the contract with those changes?
With those changes, I make the motion.
Okay.
I make the motion. Do we have a second on that?
I'll second.
April seconds, all in favor, aye?
No.
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion does carry. That's all I've got under old business. Does anybody else have any additional old business? Not, we'll move on to approval of the claims. If we've had a chance to review our claim packets, can I get a motion to approve those?
So moved.
Lenny, motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Brian, second. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Do we have any comments from the audience tonight?
Just had a quick question.
Ms. Fouch?
Did did the 3 years that you're gonna put on that contract, does that line up with how long they signed the lease?
They've got, my understanding is they have a 2-year lease.
That's what I was thinking, I remember from
Yeah.
before. Does that make a difference?
I mean, it
was gonna say, that's throwing another equation at it, isn't it? If he's only got a 2-year lease,
Can we
And
put
we
the
want him to
3-year
stay three
stipulation
open,
in
we
there if
need
he's
to-
only got a 2-year lease?
we need
Well,
to do
yeah, I
something.
mean, I think that's the deal, and even with a 2-year lease, it might be terminable month to month. You know, we don't know, and we don't wanna know, that's not our business. You know, the relationship he has with his, lessor or vendors, you know, we're just saying, hey, if you wanna, you know, take some of our funds and we think it's appropriate and we like your project, then 3 years is what we normally ask for. So it's really up to them to stay in business for 3 years, stay open, you know, 8 hours a day, 6 days a week. So I think all those go hand in hand. I think it is appropriate, even though they only have a 2-year lease. That's not really our business, you know, they just gotta make it work, and, cause we're investing in that. So I do think it's okay to do 3 years.
But do you think he's gonna okay that? I mean, if I was a businessman and I only had a 2-year lease, you got another year you gotta worry about. I mean,
Well, to be,
it's
to
kinda
be-
questionable, isn't it?
Well, yes, sir, Mr. Fryman, but it's to be just consistent with what we've done with all our other projects. We do 3-year clawbacks, Main Street does 3-year clawbacks, so it's just a number that, you know, we felt like if they stay open for 3 years, you know, then we've gotten our money's worth. I think proof 124 is 5 years.
5 years.
So, yeah.
And 5 more.
Yeah, and then both.
Yeah.
But, you know, it's a way for us to, because some redevelopment commissions just give the money and there are no fallbacks. So, you know, it's a way for us to make sure that we've got, you know, string at the end of this, in addition to all the vetting you guys have done. So I do think it's okay. Normally, we wouldn't even know that they have a 2-year lease, you know, right? That's just their business. That's their lease, their vendors, that's just what they do. I think that's just for whatever it's worth.
I think
You
the
know, 5-year
Detmers-
lease, but we wouldn't, you know, 3 years is just what we've always done.
I think the Detmers, from a business standpoint, would probably understand we have precedents that we've already set, so we'll just keep the precedent going.
I agree.
And if they, for whatever it's worth, if they said, you know, hey, we can't do 3 years, then we'll just come back to the next meeting or have a special meeting. If that was something that they aren't willing to accept, then we'll have to circle the wagons again. But I think they'd be fine with it.
And just an additional note, just keeping in mind that, you know, the focus of our investment are, you know, the things that we want to bring downtown. I mean, we just didn't invest in a business that wanted to get money from redevelopment. We invested in a business that we attracted to our downtown community. So, you know, I just want to be clear that there's, you know, a list of business and like-kind businesses that we are interested in. This isn't any kind of business. This is something that we feel that's, again, great for our livable communities, 7 days a week, and a great experience for visitors so that they come back. That's why we invested in this project.
Yeah, that's a good point. Our investment, you know, we invest X to get 3X, right? We want to make a profit on this deal, right? And that's why it's incredible. It's great what you guys do as a team to vet these and say, okay, this isn't just a cool idea. This fits in this, you know, peg, and it's gonna make these other businesses flourish. So, you know, it's something that will pay off in a much bigger way and have a big return.
In defense of the 3-year rule, we also gave them access and sacrificed the future use of the lot next door to this building. So I think that's an argument for really having that 3-year clawback.
Now, I understand all that, but the 2-year, him just giving him 2 years, Mr. Messmore, will he have a problem getting that 3rd year if something just happens? And, I
Well,
mean, then,
There's lots of things that can happen that.
because they, you know, Murphy's Law, what can't happen will happen sometimes, so.
I think we're good. I'm
And
good.
ideally, this commission would work with them if their landlord was the reason that they're not going to remain open in that location. If they had to move across the street or around the corner because the landlord was being difficult, ideally, this commission would work with them.
Right, I think we,
That's good to know then.
yeah, we,
Well, I can't make a promise
Generally
for 3 years
say-
from now, but
Right, but you have to have something
that
in
any
place
changes,
initially.
Right.
that any changes or amendments that we would have to come back for the board for approval. So there would be an opportunity for discussion. Agreed.
I thought we talked about that before with him, about the, you know, the 3-year deal. but I thought he had a 3-year contract.
No.
He didn't. So,
And I think currently he's got a landlord that's kind of excited to see him go in there, working with him pretty well, so.
yeah,
Should work
And
out.
they do have the first option to purchase, I believe.
Oh, yeah, they do have the right of refusal,
They
so
do
they
have
can
that.
purchase. Ms. Fouch, thank you very much.
See
You
what you
always
did?
ask good questions.
See what you did?
yeah, see what you did, you got something started.
That's good, though. That's good.
Yes, it was.
And where we at on the agenda?
We are comments from the audience.
Oh,
Dinner?
can I be the audience here real quick?
Sure, what do you want to say?
After discussion, and it is September, and the next time we meet will be October, I would like for the board to consider allowing myself and Michelle, Director of Main Street, to look at the total uncommitted funds in the Main Street LRC investment program, and maybe reallocate those to areas in the budget that we are low or out of money, just to get us through the end of the year. So if you would give me that flexibility, I'll come back to you. No additional funds, just a thoughtful way to redistribute what we already have allocated that are being underutilized. Please.
Good idea.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Would you like a motion?
Well, it
for
wasn't
that?
my idea alone.
Would you like a motion on that?
You need a motion for that, Brian?
Motion.
I mean, your word is good to me, but emotion, whatever you, and the, you know, the record, the YouTube video and everything that we have, so.
If we're good.
I'm sorry, Ms. Brookbank, do you want?
No, we're good.
Okay.
I don't think we need a motion.
Any other comments from the audience? Michelle, our Main Street Director, is here. Do you have anything you want to add tonight?
Thank you for the ability to redistribute the funds, because that sign and awning grant is a great economic driver for new businesses, and I know Funny Farm Coffee is gonna be looking for the sign. I know that was something that they were planning on utilizing, and we have exhausted those funds, so, we can just scooch some blade sign funds around, and we also have a marketing fund that our merchants don't seem to use, so, much appreciated for that flexibility.
Thank you, Michelle, for what you do down there. Appreciate the
My pleasure.
effort you put into the city. If there are no additional comments or concerns for the evening, I'll go ahead and take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
We have a second.
I'll second that.
All right, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Always like that before we're done.